Good evening, and welcome to the October 15th, 2014 legislative session of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Trustee Codman.
Present.
Trustee DeRio.
Present.
Trustee Quezada.
Present.
Mayor Hanauer.
Present.
Are there any announcements this evening?
Yes, a few. It looks like next week we will adopt an historic intermunicipal agreement which will allow or encourage or make legal as of January 1st, 2015 until December 31st, 2018, the village will provide police services to the unincorporated area of the town of Ossining. This exciting expansion of our many-year effort to share services and therefore save taxpayers' money gives the Ossining Police Department the ability to provide seamless police coverage throughout the two adjacent municipalities. We are very proud of our negotiating team for concluding a strong contract that protects the interests of both parties and guarantees fine community-based service to residents and merchants of the town outside, as we have here in the village. And we are justifiably proud of our Ossining Police Station, our Ossining Police, for the work that they do on behalf of the residents of the village and soon of the town. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week at 7 p.m., the Ossining High School Drama Club will present The Love of Three Oranges by Hilary DePiano. Actually, it's DePiano. This was made into an opera by Prokofiev, but they're not doing the opera form. I just thought I'd tell you that. And on Friday, October 17th at 6 p.m., the Ossining Historical Society will hold its major fundraiser of the year at the Sleepy Hollow Country Club. Chief, you don't know whether there are any seats left? Call tomorrow. The number is 941-0001. Thank you. And on Sunday, October 19th, from 10 to 4, we invite everyone to the first annual, we hope, Ossining Chalk It Up Festival. You are welcome to showcase your artistic talents and enjoy a free day of music, dance, crafts, food, alongside other amateur and other professional artists who will be chalking up Main Street and Spring Street on the sidewalks. More information, contact Ingrid Richards at irichards@villageofossining.org. And finally, on next Tuesday at 7 p.m. in the Boudars Theater of the Ossining Public Library, the Chamber of Commerce will host the Candidates Night Election Forum. This is open to the public, and I highly recommend that anyone who is interested, and I hope everyone is interested, I recommend that you attend. Anyone else?
Sure. We've certainly had an interesting season so far of fall, everything from fall to summer every other day, you never know. So now's a good time to think about winter, tough as it may be when it's 75 degrees out. And if you haven't checked out ossining.energizeny.org, I encourage you to. If you're a homeowner or property owner of any kind, there can be really terrific programs available. It may not cost you any out-of-pocket money. There's financing available. There's some funding available for some people to be able to have their homes made more energy efficient, which will save you money. It will make your home more comfortable, and it will also make your home more valuable. So that's ossining.energizeny.org. And tomorrow evening, that's Thursday, October 16th, at the Ossining Public Library. Please join us at 6:30 for Pink Ribbons. That's the film for this month's Ossining Documentary and Discussion Series. You may be seeing an awful lot of pink ribbons around. It's a very timely film for us to be showing as it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it should be a very interesting discussion. If you've heard the phrase this year of think before you pink, it asks some tough questions about a subject that is really personal and emotional for a lot of us. And it should be an interesting discussion. It includes someone from Charity Navigator. One of the issues that we'll be talking about is for all the time and resources that people devote to trying to help with cancer research and with cancer support. Are we spending our money wisely? Sometimes there's some question of the best use of mixing marketing and philanthropy. So please join us 6:30 at the Ossining Public Library tomorrow, October 16th, for Pink Ribbons. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Madam Clerk?
We'll move into administrative reports. Village Manager Richard Lyons.
Thank you. We have a brief formal agenda this evening, which will be followed by an executive session to discuss different real estate transactions involving the village, as well as to obtain legal advice with respect to some contractual matters. So we're knee-deep in budget discussions and meetings and deliberations with department heads. This entire week will be spent meeting with them, and then we'll continue to refine the budget for 2015. It's a particular challenge this year as we struggle to try to meet up with the state-imposed tax cap requirement in terms of increase of levy of taxes. At the same time, we're constantly being asked, and there's expectations for essential services to be maintained, which is so critical to the success of the community. So at this point, in the midst of the difficult budget situation where we're obviously doing way more, or the village is obviously, as all other municipalities are obviously doing way more than with less, I would just ask the public and our residents and businesses the same mantra that you see with respect to security issues, which is basically if you see something, say something. I would invite the public and our residents and business owners that if you see something in the community that you think needs attention or that is of concern to you, you're certainly welcome to call the village manager's office at 941-3554, and we will log in your complaint, and we have the ability to actually act on them fairly promptly and to address any needs that you might see. So it's actually the most effective way of getting items addressed ASAP, because we have the ability to interface with our department heads and to review a situation as soon as practical. So I invite you to call the village manager's office with any concerns that you might have. If you see something in the community that disturbs you, please say something to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Police Chief Joseph Burton.
Surprised me you skipped over somebody. Okay. Monthly statistics for September. Blotter entries recorded 2,343. Vehicle and traffic summonses issued 207. Parking summonses 1,522. Part 1 crimes uniform crime reports were 16. Arrests for the month were 63. Penal law 26. Village ordinances 13. And vehicle and traffic 24. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire Chief Matt Scarduzio.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board.
Good evening.
Year to date, the Ossining Fire Department has responded to 508 calls. Also, the fire department just completed its fire prevention week in all the elementary schools. The theme this year was Test Your Smoke Detectors Monthly. Reminder to all residents, daylight savings is going to be over on November 2nd, so when you change your clocks, please remember to change your batteries and all your alarms in your house. And also, we would like to thank Henry from the rec department for the use of the aqueduct on Ann Street to complete our annual confined space training for the year.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Village Engineer Paul Frioli.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Evening.
This afternoon, we finally had the opportunity to walk with DEC representatives from the state's DEC Terrytown office. They are the regulators who are going to oversee satisfaction of the consent order for the Kilbrook project. So we finally coordinated a meeting with the same, and Corporation Counsel and I walked with the regulator today, and although it is not reduced to writing and formalized yet, she has verbally expressed to us that she's satisfied that the consent order has been met. So that's a good milestone for us, and we're if you peeked over the edge, you could see that we're still working diligently in there to get the actual path portion completed before year's end too. So that today was a good day, and the rain held up, so it was nice to be able to walk the entire length of that path with the DEC finally. So that's something that I can say is past us now. I'm happy about that. A brief PSA. Fall is upon us, and we get a lot of calls into the office to say, when are you going to start going around with the vacuum, et cetera, where are you going to be and when? And I'll tell you what we tell the residents when they call. We typically start towards the end of this month, beginning of November. We try to time it, but we're reminding everybody over the last, it's been 4 or 5 years, I think now, since we implemented the organic bagging policy. If they would like their leaves removed or any organic waste removed on a weekly basis, they can simply bag it in an organic bag and leave it curbside, and will be picked up weekly. If not, they can rake it to the curb, and we'll be there at least 2 or 3 times during the course of the fall. We'll probably commence with that collection towards the end of this month. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Superintendent of Water and Sewer, Andrew Teese.
Good evening. Our reservoir is presently at 92% Indian Brook. Last month we were at 99% capacity. Right now we're currently purchasing 75% of our water from New York City. Last month we were at 85%, so we're in the right direction. Up to now it's about 3.5 inches of water in the area of rainfall this year, and normally it's about 11 inches. So we've used more New York City water, but we're trying to manage it as best as possible. We're into our 3rd week of our water distribution flushing program. The entire system will take approximately 6 weeks to be flushed, so halfway there. The emergency generator at the filter plant and operations center, the new generator at the filter plant is about 25% complete, so the pad's poured, the conduits are run, and we're waiting for the generator to show up in the next 2 months. The operations center generator is moving right along. We expect the generator to be energized by Thanksgiving. We did a scheduled shutdown this weekend, so the transfer switch is in, all the infrastructure's in at the operations center, so once the generator shows up, it'll probably take 2 days to complete the installation. Last month, we completed a full automation of Pleasantville Road Pump Station, which is known as the SCADA system, Supervisory Control System. This modification allows the pump station to operate remotely, so we could diagnose high demand situations and see if there's pressure zone problems remotely. The next pump station to be automated is Shaft 4, which feeds the Torbank tank. And finally, our water distribution field report since last month. 222 Spring Street replaced hydrant, 37 and 39 Linden Avenue, 6-inch water break, 3133 Linden Avenue, a 6-inch water break. The water breaks were about a week apart, and there was a situation up there. It was a brush fire, and the second break was most likely caused from the first break, so it wasn't just a coincidence. North State Road, Ryder Avenue, 8-inch leaking clamp, 91 Dale Avenue repaired service leak, 12 Prospect Place repaired service. Thank you.
Thank you. I was up there at Linden when they were working on this. I believe it was the second, it may have been the first break, and was told that that main is over 100 years old.
It is.
And we have a lot of those mains in the village, so people need to be patient when things happen.
It'll be something to keep an eye on, because either it'll be replaced in the future, or we'll monitor it, see how often it breaks. Just don't want to go and replace it just because of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
Treasurer Thomas Warren.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Board of Trustees.
Evening, Tom.
As the manager mentioned, we've been working on the budget this week, meeting with department heads to get the tentative budget processed and filed by early November. So following a couple of difficult days, I thought that I'd share some good news that I received after hours today. So apologize, Richard, that you don't even know this, but the county finance office advised us that the third quarter county sales tax collections were 2.61% higher than the third quarter of 2013 and 3.53% more than year-to-date for 2013. So I did my own calculations, and this should equate to more than $896,000 for the third quarter, which is about $22,800 more than the same quarter a year ago, and more than $92,000 more than the 3 quarters of 2013. So that's good news. I haven't been reporting on the overnight hardship parking programs other than to advise that our office was now processing the applications starting in 2014. But it's we're in our 10th month now of processing the applications, and we've processed over 950 applications so far this year. Permit revenues have totaled more than $45,000 year to date, which is about $6,000 more than the total amount collected for all of 2013, and more than the $35,000 that we had budgeted for 2014. So that's also good news. I also wanted to update water and sewer revenues for 2014. They seem to have started to pick up a little bit with the latest quarterly billing in the dry season. We've now exceeded $6 million in water rent revenues, which is about 1% more than this, a year ago at this time. But we're up to 66.5% of the amount budgeted for the year, which is typical. And sewer rent revenues are now up to over $800,000, and that's actually 8.4% more than the dollar amount collected a year ago. So I'm happy to see that, especially with our new sewer bonding that's due this year and next. And also wanted to report that we're working with our fiscal advisor on the 2014 annual bond and band sale. And we'll also include a meeting with Moody's later this month to obtain a bond rating for the bonds. And we're looking to maintain our very good bond rating in AA2. And today being October 15th, it's actually good timing because this has been 2 years in the making, but today the village made our final bond payment of $550,000 on a 2004 serial bond that the board had approved to be advanced refunded back in 2012. But we had to wait 2 years for that, and that money was invested over the 2 years by our escrow agent, and they're able to accumulate the amounts needed to actually pay out the 2004 bond, which was $5,545,000. And I just wanted to remind the board that the refunding bond was sold at a computed interest rate of 1.61%, which was substantially below the up to 4% and 4.25% that was payable in the 2004 bond, and it's saving the village $540,000 over the remaining 12 years of the bond, which is about $45,000 annually. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Village Planner Valerie Monastra.
Fortunately, I'm not going to be telling you about any new surprise money that that we received. But anyhow, the planning, the highlights of this past month, dealing with larger development projects. 36 Water Street. This application was to propose to build 137 units. The planning board has removed this application from its agenda until the applicant is actually ready to move forward in a more productive fashion at this point in time.
What does that mean in terms of where they stand in the process?
So at this point in time, they're still in the final environmental impact statement process. The planning board, at a number of months ago, had decided that they were going to write the final environmental impact statement because they did not like the direction of the particular project was taking. At that point in time, the applicants wanted to continue negotiations on the design, and that's where it has been and that's where we are at this juncture. So once the applicant, or if the applicant ever decides to begin negotiations again, then the planning board will take up the application. Hudson Step, the applicant proposes to build 188 units, including infrastructure improvements, historic preservation, 10% affordable housing, and green buildings. The applicant will be entering into the finding stage of the environmental quality review process. This included public hearings last month for the final environmental impact statement, and so it's anticipated approval votes will start taking place amongst the various boards over the next 2 months. Victoria Home, the applicant proposes to reconstruct their facilities and create a facility for 120 beds. They have started their environmental review process, and we're still waiting on the draft environmental impact statement to be submitted to the planning board. And then 25 Seacourt Road, this application was for the construction of 6 units, and that application was approved last month, so they can put a building permit at any point in time. The Planning Board and Board of Architectural Review so far have reviewed 33 new applications so far this year. The Zoning Board of Appeals has reviewed 28 new applications. The Historic Preservation Commission has worked on 7 applications and is continuing its work on the historic signage walking tour. The Environmental Advisory Council has worked on the LWRP consistency of 4 applications this year. And then finally, the Village of Ossining, Town of Ossining, and Village of Briarcliff Manor created a coalition application to become a solar community under the Solarize Westchester program. This program will help help businesses and residents receive solar energy, slightly reduce cost, and will help promote solar in the Village of Ossining. So the applications are due tomorrow, and I believe all 3 communities are going to be involved in a coalition.
That's terrific.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Director of Code Enforcement, Al Sirocco.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. I have the Building Department's activity report for the month of September. We had a total of 60 new complaints. We had new and old complaints that closed this month were 46. Total complaints year to date is 612. We had 30 new notices of violations issued. We were able to close 43, and up to date we had 346 violations that have been issued. Court appearance tickets issued this month, we had a total of 5. Court appearance tickets closed, a total of 17. A total tickets issued this year to date is 98. Court fines assessed this month were $18,450, and the court fines assessed to date is $62,375. We had 37 new building permits, fee totaling $6,170. 24 certificates of occupancy were issued. Final cost of affidavit fees was $670. We had 27 new electrical permits, fee totaling $2,090. And we didn't have any backflow applications this month. Overnight parking inspections, we had a total of 42. 29 Section 8 inspections, 5 fire and assembly inspections, and 233 building and framing inspections. I know it was a warm day today, but the cold is coming. So a reminder to all landlords, property owners, that they are required to provide their tenants with a minimum temperature of 68 degrees at all times between September 15th and May 31st of every year. If anyone does have a heat complaint, please call the building department at 941-3199. That's during office hours, which are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And if it's after hours, please call the police department at 941-5 4099. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, Henry Atterbury.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. Couple of things. First, we had past weekend, the Fall Family Fun Day. We had postponed it for 1 week, and then we moved it to the community center, and the turnout at the community center was quite good. About what we averaged over at Market Square. So Fall Family Fun Day was successful. The next big event is the Dare Halloween. That's going to be held on Friday, October 31st from 6 to 8 at the community center gym, as it usually is. It's co-sponsored with the Recreation and Parks Department and the Police Athletic League. And so we've got plans for that, but it's free and open to anybody in Ossining if they want to come down to the community center on Friday, October 31st at the community center. I was going to mention something. Fern is here to talk about. I'm sure the haunted hayrides. I'll just mention there is a haunted hayride, but I'll let her give the details. Sailing season's almost over, and boating's winding down, and life jackets are required from November 1st to May 1st, and I would recommend life jackets at all times, but as Trustee Durayo normally reports on the Coast Guard Auxiliary, it's a good idea to start using the life jackets at this time of year. It's probably good all year round, but particularly this time of year as it starts getting colder. The tennis courts at Nelson Park are finally finished. The Con Ed showed up last week and finally did their last piece of that. So we have 6 poles at the tennis courts, and they are using them on Wednesdays and Friday evenings. It's open tennis if anybody wants to go down, and there's a doubles tournament this Saturday there. So the courts are getting a lot of use, and the lights are great. Some of the participation numbers, swim lessons right now, we have 152 students swimming. Spartans have 91 swimmers on the Spartan swim team. The after-school program has 98 students. Talked to Katrina, who's works for us, but also coaches the high school team, and they were last week 4-1. That's because it's the best record they've had in quite some time, although I heard that on Friday she lost to her old high school, so now they're 4-2. But that is the best record that a girls' high school team has had ever, and that is due in large part to the Spartan swimmers who are now drifting up from the Spartans youth team onto the high school team, and she's thinking that next year they may go undefeated, because that's how strong the swimmers are that are coming out of our program and going to the high school team. And as far as revenues, in 2013, our total revenue was $723,000. Year-to-date in 2013 was $650,000. Right now, in 2014, year-to-date, we are at $658,000. That means we're about $65,000 off of where we need to be at the end of the year, and I think we're not going to have any problem meeting our revenue projections for the end of the season. Thank you.
Thank you.
I neglected to mention at the Dare Halloween that the Rotary Club will be there offering free hot dogs, free popcorn, free hot cider, and setting the fire alarm off, burning
I
hot
was thinking
popcorn.
that,
That's-
actually.
Director of Personnel, Linda McMahon.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Trustees. Our final training classes were held about 2 weeks ago. We had 2 full days of review and hands-on training in the process of executing trenching and shoring, as well as confined space. The employees were actually made to do a full entry into confined space, which meant that they went from the first step of filling out a permit to darning the appropriate harnesses and perform retrievals as well. The training is always beneficial, and it reinforces skills. And something that is wonderful that actually came out of our training is that the same trainers are now, for the past several years, been working also with our fire department. So we have so much crossover between employees and the fire department, because the fire department would be our rescue, and God forbid, in the event of an emergency. So it's really running along smoothly, and this same training company now has actually expanded to adjacent municipalities into Cortland and Briarcliff, and so everyone in the area is going to be sort of on the same page should there be an emergency. So then we just start it all over again next year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move into organization announcements. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the board?
Hi, my name's Fern Casada. Everybody, hi.
Hello?
So I'm with Ossining Historic Cemeteries Conservancy, and in collaboration with Ossining Parks and Recreation, we've put together a wonderful, amazing, haunted forest hayride, which is going to take place on Friday, October 24th, and the tickets will start being sold at 6:15, and the rides will start at 6:30. It will end at, ticket sales will end at 9:30, and riders will be able to ride until the tickets run out, okay? So I hope to see everybody there. Henry, am I forgetting anything? And just on a medical note, if you have any medical issues that you can't be around strobe lights, there will be a lot of them, so probably not a good idea to go there, but thank you.
Thank you.
Where is
It's in Cedar Lane Park.
Sorry, I'm in two places at once at the moment. It's at Cedar Lane Park, and starting ticket sales at 6:15.
How much are the tickets?
$5 per person, and the proceeds are all going to Ossining Historic Cemeteries Conservancy. Oh, and there will be food available for purchase, like dollar bags of cookies, dollar cups of hot apple cider, and stuff like that. So.
Nothing too gruesome.
What?
Nothing too gruesome?
Not in the food, no.
Okay.
Out in the field, a little bit.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
All right, guys, thank you.
Is there
Matt?
anyone else?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, village trustees. My name is Matthew Galata. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Ossining Rotary Club. We are pleased to announce our annual Byington Scholarship fundraiser. This year, we're going to be having it at the Atria on the Hudson, located at 321 North Highland Avenue in Ossining. That's $40 a person, includes a little buffet, appetizers, beer and wine. And it's a great way for the community to come out and support the Ossining High School. We used to have up to 4 scholarships. Now we're up to 5 scholarships. So we're really proud of that, and it's with the community effort and really the local officials and leaders in the community to bring as many people as you can. We're going to have a great silent auction items and raffle, and it's great stuff from the local Ossining community and a little extra, but mostly Ossining local businesses supporting Ossining and supporting Ossining High School. So if you guys can make it out on November 3rd, which is the day before the election, and it's always the foot massage is always a good one for that one. But please come from 6 to 8 p.m. Plenty of parking at the Ossining Atria, and we're looking forward to see everybody on a Dare Halloween. Rotary is very proud to continue that effort. Thank you, Chief, and to Henry. It's really great to see the kids. Mr. Mayor, you're always there, so forward to seeing everybody. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you.
Village board resolutions. Is there anyone here to address the board? And we'll move into our village board resolutions. Letter A, approval of minutes, October 1st, 2014 regular meeting. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the October 1st, 2014 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board, Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Letter B, approval of voucher detail report. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves a voucher detail report dated October 15th, 2014 in the amount of $653,188.29. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
On the board, Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Continuing business of the board?
Nope.
New business of the board?
Nope.
No
Nope.
one here? Nope.
No recess.
I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session for real estate and legal advice.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Now, I bet some of you are wondering why the agenda is so short. It's because everyone is working very hard on the budget and working very hard on completing the contract for police, various other things which are taking a huge amount of time and are not quite ready for prime time television. So this is the end of this week's agenda. We hope to see you next week, this week at the documentary series, and next week over the weekend. We'll see you at the forum on Tuesday night, library, and at Village Hall for a work session at 7:30 on Wednesday night.